So we finished with the first episode where we refactored the index page, right? The main page of the app. Now, what are we going to do now? We have a few more things in the app here. When we look at it, let me quickly move myself outside of that view. Okay, very good. Here, good. No, here. Okay, let's go back up here. Now, let's do this. So what do we have? Everything looks pretty clean here, but hey, there are always improvements that could be done. However, here, I think we're already at a good place. Now, the thing we're going to do here is to clean up a little bit more the way we handle component in this application, right? So if you look at it, it's an e-commerce app, right? So e-commerce means that you need to have a little bit of SSR, meaning server-side rendering happening right there. So the question there is, what happens when we do online, when we make that call online file, right? So if I go and look for use product, I see that use product actually make an HTTP call and then gets the data. But when does that happen? It happens literally at the beginning of the app, right? So once we get the component rendering, and then so the call is being made, the component is being rendered, and then from there you get the data. But e-commerce means if you search the information online, you should be able to be like, hey, I'm looking for let's say an awesome workshop. If you type that on Google, Google should be able to crawl through that website and then find that information. But if it only happens once the app loads, I believe that you're missing out on the fact that you can use server-side rendering, right? So what we're going to do here is actually get rid of that part. So we're gonna make sure that we make that call from a server, and then the page is construct from there, and then you get that information coming up. So but however, here I'm just gonna leave it right now, and just go to the page. So that page, how are we going to do that? So the first thing we need to look into is where the data coming from. The data comes from a server. So if I look for product, I see that I have a server right here. So maybe that server here, the data, as you see the way it's coded, you can clearly see that the person who designed it was going for simplicity, right? Because yeah, this is just some faker data coming, and then they put it together and then send that through the handle at the bottom right here, right? So that's basically what happened. Now, however, the way it is right now makes it difficult to use that on the server, like as a server-side rendering, right? So the way we're going to solve that is, first, let's clean up that part, and then we move it to a better place, right? So I'm gonna first create inside here a server folder, all right? And then in that server folder, I'm gonna add product. JS, right? Don't forget that we're going to migrate that app to TypeScript, right? So, and then what I'm going to do, go back to product, and I'm going to copy everything right here, right? Just cut it. And then I go back to the server product, and then move it right there. Now, this idea of just having code running like this is not really efficient. So what I'm going to do is actually create a function, and always start with an export, and then just say get all product. All right. Now I'm gonna pass that entire thing right here. ESLint is not really working in this project, so we're gonna fix that later. So what are we going to do right now is, once we have that, so we want to return that fake product, right? So then on the other side, I can go back to the product page, and then here I can safely call get product from the server, and that thing here is going to return me a fake product, but fake product. So that should still work like this, right? So if we, just to make sure that our app is still working, just gonna quickly reload here, and we see that the app is still working. By the way, if I do this, then don't send anything, refresh, we see that, yeah, it's still working, right? So that's already the first thing, right? We have the this part that is basically using an external, you can think of it as an external way to get the data. And if later on we decide that we want to connect that to anything, a database or something different, it's, the code is already isolated right here, right? So that's basically the first thing. Now, what am I going to do with it? I will go to that index page, and instead of getting the data from here, I'm going to get it from the server. So I'm gonna do here a function called get server side props, right? So that function here returns, let me make sure that I make it a little bit higher here. It returns props, and with that props we're gonna just return something. So here, if I say hello world, what's going to happen is the fact that now that hello world is gonna arrive here as hello, right? So the way I call it, I call it hello. Yeah, you see it here. So at the top here, it will arrive as hello right here. So if you log it and then just say hello, I always like logging it this way. What's gonna happen if you look at it right here, you're going to see that it says hello over here, right? And I didn't really say, so hello world, so it says undefined, so it sees it, but it says undefined. So I might have done a small typo here, so we can quickly look that up. So go here and say get server side props, right? So that's basically the name of the thing. You gotta have that name right, because it's something Next.js uses, right? So if I go here and put it this way, what am I having wrong? Server side. It looks like I get server side. Okay, let's check that out again, because it feels like I didn't do a great job there. So we copy this and we bring it over here. So the name seems to be pretty okay. However, we're not getting the data. So I return props and then say hello here, and maybe I just didn't look past that, but yeah, we get indeed hello world coming in there, right? So that was working, but I made a quick mistake right there. So look, and now once we have that, let me quickly go back here. We can remove this dead code. Once we have that, what we want to do here is, instead of this, let me put it a little bit higher. We're gonna bring the product here, product, and the product will come from get all product from the server, right? So we go all the way up here. We see that now we have imported the product. I think I'm on the way, so move a little bit, Davey, right here, stay here. So you see right there at the top, we have imported that file right there. And now if I go back over here, I see that I can now bring product like this, right? And I can remove that, and you see that our application isn't running on the left, but that it's really easy to solve. We're just going to quickly rerun it, and then now we have the app that is server-side rendered, right? So just and then you see that it's server-side rendered. And now if we look into it right here, let me just make a little bit of space and check the HTML. So let me close that entire thing. We should be able to see right there. So I need to have a better view of that entire thing. So we have that, and then open in the main. I should be able to see that the data were loaded with the at the beginning here, so I think there is a button that I'm missing, but anyway, I will find that and show that on a different video here. But as you see now, we have a page that is taking the data from here, right? But that code there, that code right here is taking is coming from a server, right? So it's something you could reuse in multiple pages. And so the way I'm going to handle that, so first let me remove some dead code right here. And now the way I'm going to handle that is to get that function, and instead of having it right here, I'm going to go to the I'm going to go inside the server. So let's go to the server part, and then here we're going to have get server side. Oh, actually I can do that this way, so I can go inside right here and then just make that available here, right? So now I have literally that function that is being right here. So get server side props, and then it does that. And now what I could do is to go back to that index page, and in the index page, what we're going to do is instead of getting get product here, we're gonna get server side props, and I'm just going to export it this way, right? So once I do that, let me just rerun the app right here. We should be able to see that our application is still running properly, right? So that's already a good place. We just using server-side rendering to get the data. So the props that we receive here are basically served from at the moment the page is loaded, they're already there, right? Cool. So that's already one part of the chunk. We have a few more things that we want to do here, but before that, I'm just gonna quickly commit this. Always commit often. So here we going to say we're gonna create a feature brand that says SSR, right? Right, and then here I'm just gonna add all of this. Add support for SSR and the homepage. There you go. Right. Okay. So this is pretty cool. So the next step here is to look into the component, each of the component, and see what could be improved right there. Okay. So don't forget to subscribe, and we have still a lot to cover in this in this session. So what basically now we have I just finished with the server-side rendering, and you should be using that, but carefully, right? And now we're gonna look into each of the components, clean them up a little bit, and making sure that we're ready for adding more like TypeScript testing. I have a list here. You see that super base there. It's used directly in the component. We're going to isolate that, and then we're gonna get crazy based on your feedback. So don't forget to put your comment below. Tell me what you think could be improved, what you saw, and then we're going to improve that. And one last thing is, we're not batching anyone here. I'm not pointing at any developer saying this is really bad. No, what I'm doing here is think of it being part of a team, and then you talking with your teammate in a way like, hey, look here, that could be improved. And you know what? The only thing missing is I don't have a PR system where I can send a PR and then they accept and so on and so forth. I could do that. I have the repo. But in a real team, it's suggestion that you're making, and then the team has to accept that. So I'm bringing my experience here and sharing that with you. So let's make sure that we keep going in a respectful way. And if you things that you think should not be in a way, just put it in comment, and I'm going to discuss that in the video and explain you how I think about it, and maybe you'll be completely right. And if you're right, I will just, if the way you see things works, I'm gonna learn also tons of stuff doing it this way, right? So that's it. See you on the next video. It's right below here, right? Click right there. Cheers.